What if the richest man in America walked into a small-town diner dressed like he had nothing, and the only person who treated him with respect was the waitress everyone else ignored? What happened next shocked the entire town. Let's get into today's story. It was just another rainy Tuesday morning in Cedar Falls, Colorado. Most people rushed into Maggie's diner looking for hot coffee before work. Behind the counter stood Emily Brooks, a 24-year-old waitress known for two things: working harder than anyone else and smiling even when life wasn't smiling back. She worked double shifts every day, not because she loved the job, because she had to. Her dad had passed away 3 years earlier, leaving behind medical debt that nearly destroyed the family. Her mom worked nights at a nursing home, and Emily quietly carried the rest of the burden. Still, she treated every customer like family. Around 8:15 a.m., the bell above the diner door rang. An older man walked inside. His jacket was soaked. His boots were muddy. His beard looked untrimmed. To everyone else, he looked homeless. The room instantly went quiet. One businessman rolled his eyes. "Dude, seriously? This guy's gonna scare customers away." Another customer muttered, "Someone should tell him this ain't a shelter." The cook glanced toward Emily. "You want me to handle this?" Emily shook her head. "I got it." She walked over with a warm smile. "Morning, sir. Looks like the weather's been pretty rough out there." The old man smiled. "You could say that." She handed him a towel. "Here, dry off. Coffee's on me today." The diner went silent. The businessman laughed. "You're giving away free food now. Real smart." Emily didn't even look back. Everyone deserves kindness. The old man ordered nothing fancy, just coffee and the cheapest breakfast on the menu. As Emily filled his cup, she noticed something unusual. His hands. They weren't ordinary, despite his worn-out clothes. His watch left a pale mark on his wrist, as if he had recently removed an extremely expensive one. His posture wasn't that of a homeless man. It was calm, confident, like someone used to being in charge. Emily raised an eyebrow. Something about this guy didn't add up. Then, just as she set down his plate, the diner door opened again. 3 men in expensive suits stepped inside. They looked around nervously until one of them whispered, "There he is." Emily turned toward the old man. He slowly looked up and smiled. The 3 men in suits walked straight toward the old man. The entire diner froze. The businessman who had mocked him nearly dropped his coffee. "Sir, we've been looking everywhere for you," one of the suited men said. The old man sighed and took another sip of coffee. "Relax, Frank. I was enjoying breakfast." Emily stood there holding the coffee pot, completely confused. Then the second man turned to her. "Miss, do you know who this is?" Emily shook her head. The man smiled. "This is Victor Hale." The name hit the room like a thunderclap. Victor Hale, founder of Hale Technologies. Billionaire investor. One of the richest men in America. The same businessman who had laughed at him suddenly stood up. "Mr. Hale, I didn't recognize you, sir." Victor looked at him calmly. That was the point. The diner became dead silent. Victor turned back to Emily. "You're the only person in this place who treated me like a human being." Emily felt her cheeks turn red. "I was just doing my job." Victor chuckled. "No, Keith, you were doing something much rarer." Then he reached into his coat and pulled out a black business card with a silver logo. "Come see me tomorrow in Denver. I have a proposition for you." The businessman's jaw dropped. "A proposition." Victor nodded. "I'm opening a new hospitality company. I need people I can trust, not people who are impressed by money." Emily stared at the card. This could change everything. Her mom's bills, the debt, her future. But before she could answer, Victor leaned closer and said quietly, "One warning. If you accept, everyone in this town will think you got lucky. They won't know the real reason I chose you." Emily swallowed hard. "And what is the real reason?" Victor smiled. "Because you passed a test you didn't even know you were taking." Then he stood up and walked toward the door. But just before leaving, he turned around one last time. "Oh, and Emily, tomorrow's meeting will be the second test." Emily's heart skipped a beat. What kind of test was he talking about? The next morning, Emily drove 3 hours to Denver, clutching Victor Hale's business card the entire way. His headquarters looked exactly how she'd imagined. Glass walls, private security, Luxury cars parked outside. "No way I belong here," she whispered. Inside, a receptionist smiled. "Mr. Hale is expecting you." Emily stepped into the top-floor boardroom. Around a massive table sat 12 executives in designer suits. Every one of them looked at her like she was in the wrong building. One executive leaned over and whispered, "She's a waitress?" Another smirked. "This has to be a joke." Then the doors opened. Victor Hale walked in. "Good morning, everyone." The room instantly fell silent. Victor didn't sit down. Instead, he looked directly at Emily. "Before we begin, I'd like everyone to know something." He placed a thick envelope on the table. Inside this envelope is $50,000 in cash. The executives exchanged confused looks. Victor continued, "I'm stepping out for 10 minutes. If that envelope disappears." He paused. "The job is canceled." Then he walked out. The room was silent. 5 minutes later, one executive casually reached toward the envelope. Emily immediately stood up. "Don't." The man laughed. "Relax. I was just looking." Emily didn't move. "No, you weren't." The room grew tense. Another executive rolled his eyes. "Who made the waitress security?" Emily answered calmly, "Nobody. But if Mr. Hale trusted us with this room, then someone should protect that trust." 10 minutes later, Victor returned. The envelope was exactly where he had left it. He smiled. "I watched everything." The executives looked confused. Victor pointed toward a large television screen. Every second had been recorded. Then he turned to the board. "Half of you have MBAs. Some of you have worked for me for over a decade. But only one person in this room understood the value of trust." He looked at Emily. "Congratulations. You are officially the regional director of Hale Hospitality." Gasps filled the room. The executive who had mocked her lowered his head. Victor smiled one last time. "Skills can be taught. Experience can be gained. But character," he looked around the room, "is priceless." Emily walked out of the building with tears in her eyes. She finally paid off her mother's medical debt. She bought back her childhood home. And years later, whenever someone asked how she became successful, she always gave the same answer. "Success didn't start the day I got promoted. It started the day I chose kindness when nobody was watching." Moral of the story: character opens doors that money, talent, and luck never can. The way you treat people when they have nothing to offer reveals who you truly are. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an inspiring story. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.